Good morning. This is a little bit overdue, but I figured, it's time. It's just as good of a time as any to do this video. So, last Thursday, Jeremy and I did a teaching episode over at Bloomington Junior High School, and we taught the band kids over there. And it was a nice long, 10-minute lesson. Not 10-minute lesson, what am I talking about? It's like the entire class period, let's be quite honest here. But we taught the kids how to draw the treble and bass clefs of music staffs, and we also taught them how to draw and read tenor and alto clef as well, which are some uncommon clefs that are seen but not necessarily, thrown out. It's also known as a movable clef, and we explain that to the kids as well, where you can take the clef and you can move it up and down the staff and have it mean different things. But yeah, it was interesting because I think the kids picked up on the different teaching styles that we had right away, because Jeremy and I have two completely different teaching personalities, I think. And I am a little bit, louder and a little bit more jokier, I guess, if that's even a word. But I can throw out information there, and, I'm sort of this authority figure. Well, not really authority figure, but there's this, I'm physically imposing, let's say. I'm a big guy, and I've got a loud voice. And, people know that, when I speak, I can project, and I mean business. Jeremy's a little bit shorter than I am, and he doesn't project his voice as much, and the kids, sort of picked up on that and tried to, do little side conversations. But it was interesting, I think, just to watch the difference between Jeremy and I doing this at the same time, almost. How did this affect the kids' literacy? Well, reading any sort of music involves deciphering symbols on a page and being able to take those symbols, make some sort of sense out of them, whether it be, notes, articulations, rhythms, stuff like that. And being able to make sense out of them, whether it's in a solo or whether it's in some sort of... Oh, that's my brother. He's just working out. If you hear that in the background. No, but it was interesting just to see, the difference between, the kids. We reviewed treble and bass clef as well, and the kids were really into those. And then one trombonist, when he started teaching alto clef, asked, well, what am I going to use this for? What am I going to use it for? And I thought that was really poignant and really interesting, because we were trying to teach them more about literacy. And I guess it's a matter of versatility, almost. Because if you have that versatility, you can, read the different clefs, and you can interpret the music slightly differently. And we had the kids have this sheet of music depending on their instrument. It was just Mary Had a Little Lamb in B flat, but we wrote it all out in alto clef and gave it to the kids, and we had them play it. And that was, I think, a really good experience for them, because they all kind of, took a look at that. They're like, oh, I gotta write in everything over the notes. I'm like, no, you don't. You know how to read the clef. We have everything written up on the board already. So we have all the lines and all the spaces in the staff. All you have to do is just add your ledger lines on top of that if you need to.
because there wasn't anybody that took it down. And I mean, we had kids play it in the octave that was comfortable for them, because that would have been killer on the tubas. But yes, that was a particular, activity that we had. And then on top of that, we had the kids take that particular excerpt and rewrite it in tenor clef on their staff paper. Some of these kids did, others, the directions weren't really clear, so they didn't necessarily have that on there. But it was interesting, to say the least, what the kids, interpreted those directions as, and whether or not they wrote the note names in, or whether they actually took the music and drew, the correct tenor clef on the staff and wrote out the music on their staff paper. And some of them did. Some of it looked really freaking good. Others, they needed work, but it was extremely interesting just to, sample the kids' work and see what they were able to do with that, and how they were able to, think about it and write it out. It was also fun because when I was up there, I started off showing them, again, reviews on how to draw treble and bass clef. And I had some of the kids come up to the smartboard and draw them out, just like 4 or 5 volunteers for each clef. But it was fun, because a lot of the kids didn't know how to draw a treble clef, and some of them see it every single day, and it's just this big giant loop thingamajigger. How do you draw that? When I drew it out for them the first time. That was fun, just trying to explain that to them. At any rate, though, the kids, I think, some of them really couldn't get into the lesson itself because they didn't find that it pertained to them. And after, a little bit of reflection on this, I think that's kind of, that makes sense, because a lot of those kids aren't going to ever need to learn how to read in tenor or alto clef. And that's, completely fine. I'm a tuba player. I've never had to read in tenor clef before. Actually, I lied. There's one solo piece that I've had to read in tenor clef, but that was a one-time deal. But, trombone players and bassoon players and euphonium players, they have to read in tenor clef all the time. Trombones and violas have to read in alto clef. So it's not necessarily the practical application, I think, as it is more the cerebral, I know how to do this, and if I encounter it, yeah, I'm going to be able to decipher it, sort of thing. So that's just my thoughts on that matter. And I mean, I think they're valid, and I think the kids are also valid in their point that, that lesson doesn't pertain to me, and that's right. If I taught a lesson on proper sticking, that's not going to be for everybody, but the percussionist will eat that up. If I taught, proper reed care for clarinet, not everybody's going to work with that, and that'll just be, woodwinds and clarinets. It's all about the audience. And some of the kids really bought into that, and some of them didn't. Is that a bad thing? No. Is it, ideal? No. But then again, you're not going to win every single student with every single subject all the time. And I think that's one of the things that as teachers we have to reconcile and try and work toward, because if we don't try and be as inclusive as possible with our students, then it's not going to be the best experience that the students can have, because they're going to go through the motions and they're going to say, why does this pertain to me? Why should I care about this when the stuff that I'm learning isn't, relevant to me? And I think that is the biggest challenge that we have as teachers, is finding subject matter that the students can relate to
and they can find useful and applicable while still trying to be in the curriculum. And one final thought on this. It's interesting talking about the curriculum because, English teachers will get like a book list, or math teachers will get the textbook, science teachers will get the textbook. And, music people don't do that. They have to come up with the concepts that they're going to teach, and they have to come up with the music that they're going to use to help teach those concepts. Or they're going to find the music and they're going to find concepts that they're going to teach from the music. It's either or, and sometimes it's a mix of both. But like a music person, a music teacher, whether it's choir, band, orchestra, general music, they he's punching a bag downstairs. Jeez. But I lost my train of thought. Any music professional, they're going to be able to create their own sort of they're going to be able to create their curriculum because they don't have a textbook. Their textbook, quote unquote, is the literature, and they have to choose what concepts to take from that, and they have to apply that to whatever pieces that they're doing. So that's my 2 cents on everything. I'm sure I've gone over time, but that is my reflection, and I hope you enjoy it.